It was a quiet evening when Sarah opened the front door and found a small package on the porch. Her name was written on the box in her mother-in-law's careful handwriting. A golden ribbon tied it neatly, and when she lifted the lid, her heart skipped. Inside was a box of gourmet chocolates, each piece looking smooth and rich, like treasures made from sugar and magic. That it was her birthday. She smiled, touched by the gesture. Her mother-in-law could sometimes be cold, but this was sweet. Sarah placed the box in the refrigerator, thinking she would enjoy one piece later at night when the house was quiet. For now, she wanted to save them. The next morning, she opened the fridge and froze. The box was empty. The wrappers were scattered on the counter, and crumbs of chocolate stuck to the edge of the table. Her husband, Daniel, walked in, rubbing his eyes. He looked tired but strangely satisfied, like someone who had eaten a full meal after days of hunger. Sarah raised an eyebrow. "You ate them?" "All of them?" she asked. Daniel gave a sheepish smile. "They were too good to resist." Sarah sighed but let it go. Maybe it was funny. Maybe it was just Daniel being careless again. She decided not to argue. That afternoon, the phone rang. Sarah picked it up, and her mother-in-law's voice came through, polite but sharp. "Hello, dear. I wanted to ask, how are the chocolates?" Sarah smiled, trying to hide her annoyance. "Well, Daniel ate them all." There was silence on the other end. A pause so long Sarah thought the line had disconnected. Then, a trembling voice. "What? Are you serious?" Sarah frowned. The reaction was strange. Too strange. "Yes," she said slowly. "He ate every single one." Her mother-in-law gasped. "Oh no, oh dear," her voice cracked like she had just heard terrible news. "This is not good. Not good at all." Sarah's smile faded. "Why? What's W? Rome?" But before she could get an answer, her mother-in-law hung up. Sarah stood still, the silence pressing around her. Something was wrong. Something about those chocolates was not normal. The rest of the day passed in unease. Daniel seemed distracted, distant. At dinner, he barely touched his food. His eyes glowed faintly under the kitchen light, though Sarah told herself it was only her imagination. He went to bed early, leaving Sarah awake with questions spinning in her mind. Late that night, her phone buzzed. It was Daniel calling from the bedroom. His voice shook with urgency. "Sarah, listen to me. Don't eat the chocolates. Promise me. Don't ever eat them." Her heart thudded. "Daniel, what are you talking about? You already ate them." "I know," he whispered, his breathing heavy. "That's why I'm calling. They weren't meant for you. They weren't meant for anyone else." Sarah gripped the phone tighter. Then who were they meant for? There was silence, only Daniel's ragged breathing on the line. Finally, he said, "For me. Only me. And now, something is happening." Sarah's blood ran cold. The birthday gift, the empty box, the trembling voice of her mother-in-law, suddenly, they were no longer small details. They were warnings. And she realized, too late, that a secret had already been set in motion. The morning sun spilled through the kitchen window, but Sarah's world felt heavy with shadows. She had barely slept. Her husband, Daniel, was already awake, sitting at the table with a distant stare. His hands trembled, yet his face carried an odd calmness, like someone carrying a secret too big to hide. Sarah placed a cup of coffee in front of him. "Daniel," she said softly, "what's going on?" Your mother sounded afraid. She asked about the chocolates like they weren't normal. You have to tell me the truth. Daniel didn't answer right away. He rubbed his temples, eyes bloodshot from the restless night. I didn't want you to find out like this, he muttered. Find out what? Sarah pressed. He looked at her, his expression caught between guilt and fear. those chocolates weren't really for your birthday. She only said that to trick you. They were meant for me." Sarah blinked in confusion. "Meant for you? Why would she do that?" Daniel swallowed hard. "It's complicated. My family has traditions. Old ones. Strange ones. I never believed in them, but my mother does. She told me since I was young that one day I'd have to continue what my father started." Sarah's heart pounded. "And the chocolates?" He glanced toward the empty box, wrapper still lying in the trash. His voice dropped. "They weren't ordinary sweets. They were prepared for me. She said they would awaken something in me. That I'd become stronger." Sarah's stomach turned. "Stronger? Daniel, this sounds insane. They were just chocolates." But even as she said it, she remembered the glow in his eyes last night. The way he moved faster than usual, the way his voice had changed. Daniel leaned forward, lowering his tone. "You don't understand. She told me that when the time came, I would feel it. And she was right. Sarah, I feel different. My hearing, my strength, even my thoughts, they're changing." Sarah's breath caught. "Changing how?" He hesitated, then picked up the coffee mug. His hand shook slightly, then steadied. With little effort, he crushed the ceramic handle between his fingers. The sound of breaking porcelain echoed through the room. Coffee spilled across the table. Sarah gasped, covering her mouth. "Daniel!" His eyes filled with panic. "I didn't mean to. It just happened." She stepped back, her voice trembling. "This isn't normal. What did your mother give you? What are you becoming?" Before he could reply, the phone rang again. Sarah answered quickly. It was her mother-in-law. Her voice was tight, filled with urgency. "Listen to me, Sarah. You must not fight it. He has started the process. Nothing can stop it now. Protect him. Do not tell anyone." Sarah's chest tightened. "What process? What are you talking about?" But the line went dead. She turned to Daniel, who stood rigid, staring at his reflection in the kitchen window. For a moment, Sarah thought she saw something impossible. His reflection blinked a second too late, as if it were not his own. Daniel whispered without looking at her, "She said this would happen. She said I would no longer be the same." Sarah's legs weakened. The chocolates were not a gift. They were a curse. And now, her husband was the proof. The nights grew longer for Sarah after Daniel ate the chocolates. Sleep no longer brought her peace. Every sound in the house made her sit up, listening. She felt as if she was living beside a stranger. Daniel's behavior changed in small ways at first. He no longer needed coffee in the morning. He stopped yawning, stopped complaining about work, stopped getting tired. His body seemed full of endless energy, like a machine that never shut down. At dinner, Sarah noticed something else. Daniel picked up his fork, but he barely touched the food. He sniffed at it, frowned, and pushed the plate away. "You don't want it?" Sarah asked carefully. He shook his head. "It smells wrong. Too ordinary." Sarah forced a smile, but inside her chest tightened. Ordinary food was no longer enough for him. The strangest change came a few days later. Sarah was folding clothes in the bedroom when she heard Daniel talking. At first, she thought he was on the phone. But when she peeked into the room, he was alone, sitting on the edge of the bed, whispering to the air. "Who are you talking to?" she asked. Daniel looked up, startled. His eyes gleamed with a faint silver light, almost like moonlight caught in water. "No one," he said too quickly. Sarah stepped back. "Don't lie to me. I heard you." He rubbed his face with his hands. "Their voices. I can hear them now. They tell me things. They guide me. Sarah's skin prickled. Voices? Daniel, that's not normal. I know, he admitted, his voice breaking. But they feel familiar. Like they've always been there, waiting for me. That night, Sarah woke to a strange sound. The bathroom light was on. She found Daniel standing in front of the mirror, his shirt off, staring at himself. His muscles looked sharper, his shoulders broader. But what chilled her most was his reflection. It didn't move at the same time he did. Daniel, she whispered that he turned slowly, and for the first time, she saw his face change. His skin shimmered faintly, like scales hidden beneath the flesh. His eyes caught the light and glowed silver. Sarah's breath hitched. What's happening to you? He shook his head, fear and hunger battling in his expression. I don't know. But I can't stop it. It's inside me. The phone rang again. Sarah jumped and grabbed it. Her mother-in-law's voice came through, steady but cold this time. It has begun, she said. Don't interfere. This is his destiny. You must not resist. Sarah's hands trembled. Destiny? He's my husband, not some experiment. Her mother-in-law's tone hardened. You don't understand. He is not becoming something new. He is becoming what he was always meant to be. Sarah dropped the phone, her chest tight with dread. She turned back to Daniel. He stood in the doorway, taller, stronger, his breathing uneven. For the first time, she wasn't sure if the man standing there was still her husband or something else entirely, and in his glowing eyes, Sarah saw the terrifying truth. The chocolates had not changed him, they had revealed him. The house no longer felt safe. Sarah moved through the rooms like a guest, her eyes always drifting to Daniel, watching for more changes. His steps were heavier now, almost too strong for the wooden floor. When he looked at her, his gaze lingered too long, as if he saw more than just her face, like he could see through her. Sarah couldn't take the silence anymore. She picked up her phone and dialed her mother-in-law, her voice trembling. You have to explain. What is happening to him? What did you give him? The older woman didn't hesitate. Her voice carried a weight, cold but steady. I warned you not to interfere. But since you are already involved, you must hear the truth. Sarah's heart thudded in her chest. Then tell me. There was a long pause on the line, and then her mother-in-law spoke words Sarah could hardly believe. Our family is not ordinary. Long before you were born, before Daniel was born, our bloodline was chosen. The chocolates are not sweets, they are vessels. Carriers of something ancient. Something not from this world. Sarah froze, the words sinking like ice into her veins. Not from this world? Yes, the woman continued. The recipe is not ours. It was given to us by others long ago. Every generation, the men of our family must consume it. It awakens what is already inside them. It connects them to the ones who wait in the shadows. Sarah's knees weakened. She sank into a chair, her hand gripping the phone tighter. The ones who wait? Who are you talking about? You wouldn't understand, her mother-in-law said sharply. They are not human, but they are tied to us. Your husband is becoming what he was meant to be. If you try to stop it, you will destroy him. Sarah's voice cracked. Destroy him? He's already changing into something I don't recognize. The line went silent for a moment. Then came the chilling reply, that is not you. You are a choice. He was never only yours to keep. The call ended abruptly. Sarah sat in the kitchen, her heart hammering, tears stinging her eyes. She wanted to scream, but the sound stuck in her throat. She thought of Daniel, his glowing eyes, his strange strength, the whispers only he could hear. Her gaze fell on the fridge. Something pulled her toward it, a gnawing curiosity mixed with fear. She opened the door slowly. There, pushed behind jars and bottles, sat another small box. Her breath caught. It was identical to the first one, but she hadn't seen it before. Its surface shimmered faintly, as though light pulsed beneath the wrapping paper. She lifted the lid. Inside, the chocolates glowed faintly in the dim kitchen light, their surfaces marked with strange patterns, like symbols carved into stone. Her stomach twisted. These weren't gifts. They were tools. Keys to something she did not understand. From behind her, a low voice whispered, "Don't touch them." Sarah spun around. Daniel stood in the doorway, taller than before, his shadow stretching across the floor like something monstrous. His silver eyes locked onto the box in her hands, and in that moment, Sarah knew the truth. Her husband was no longer simply changing, he was crossing into a world she could not follow. Sarah no longer saw her husband in simple, ordinary ways. Daniel wasn't just different, he was becoming someone she couldn't recognize. The first sign came at night. She woke to a noise in the kitchen. When she entered, Daniel was standing barefoot on the cold tiles. His hands were clenched, his breathing sharp. In front of him lay the second box of chocolates, half empty. His lips were smeared with dark stains, not like sweet cocoa, but something thicker, something that looked almost alive. Sarah gasped. "Daniel, stop! What are you doing?" He lifted his head slowly. His eyes glowed brighter than before, silver with flecks of black swirling inside. His voice was deeper, not entirely his own. "I can't stop. They call to me. I need them." Sarah shook her head. "They're changing you. Can't you see?" He laughed softly, a sound that sent chills down her spine. "I do see. I see everything. I hear them all the time now. Whispers from places you can't imagine. They're teaching me, Sarah. Guiding me." She stepped back, her voice trembling. "Teaching you what?" Daniel raised his hands. The veins beneath his skin glowed faintly, like thin rivers of silver. His movements were no longer human, too smooth, too precise. He picked up the last piece of chocolate and held it between his fingers. "They say I belong to them. That this world is only the beginning." Sarah's stomach twisted. She remembered his mother's words, not human, chosen long ago. The next morning, the transformation grew worse. Daniel no longer ate ordinary food. He stared at plates of bread, fruit, meat, but nothing satisfied him. His skin shimmered faintly in the sunlight, like a surface that didn't belong in this world. When Sarah tried to touch his arm, his skin felt too warm, almost burning under her hand. He pulled away quickly. "Don't," he whispered. "I'm not safe anymore." Her eyes filled with tears. "You're my husband. You're Daniel. Please fight this." He shook his head, but his voice was not cruel, it was broken. "I'm trying, but it's stronger than me." That night, Sarah woke again to sounds. Not from Daniel this time, but from outside. She peered through the curtains and froze. In the yard, strange shapes stood in the dark. Tall, thin silhouettes, their eyes glowing faintly like Daniel's. They did not move like men. They stood in silence, heads tilted toward the house, watching. Her breath caught. She whispered his name, but when she turned, Daniel was already at the window, staring at them. His lips curved into a faint smile. "They've come," he murmured. "They've been waiting for me." Sarah's blood turned cold. The voices he heard, the changes in his body, the glowing chocolates, it was all leading to this. He wasn't just transforming. He was being claimed, and as the shadows outside began to shift closer, Sarah realized with horror that her husband's transformation was not the end to it was only the beginning. The night was heavy with silence, broken only by the faint hum that seemed to come from everywhere at once. Sarah stood frozen by the window, her heart pounding. The figures outside remained still, their glowing eyes fixed on the house. Daniel's breath fogged the glass as he whispered, "They are here for me." His voice no longer sounded fully human. It carried an echo, as though two people were speaking at once. Sarah grabbed his arm. "Daniel, listen to me. This isn't you. They're trying to take you away." He turned to her, silver veins shimmering beneath his skin. "You don't understand, Sarah. They've always been a part of me. My mother knew. My father knew. That's why she gave me the chocolates. They're not food. They're keys." "Keys?" Sarah repeated, her voice breaking. Daniel nodded slowly. "Each piece I ate unlocked something. Memories, strength, visions. I see things now, cities under black skies, towers of glass taller than mountains, and beings older than time itself. They are not strangers to me. They are family." Sarah's hands shook. "No. That's not family. That's something else. Something using you." Before Daniel could answer, the phone rang. Sarah jumped. It was her mother-in-law again. Her tone was calm, almost proud. "You've seen them now, haven't you?" she said. "The Watchers. They've been waiting for generations. Every man in our family carries their seed. The chocolates awaken it. It is not a curse, Sarah, it is our honor." Sarah's voice cracked with anger. "Honor? You've turned your own son into a monster." There was a low laugh on the other end. "A monster to you, perhaps. But to them, he is chosen. You should be grateful. He will live beyond this small world. He will walk among gods." Sarah's chest tightened. "And what about me? What happens to me?" The older woman's voice turned cold. "You were never part of this. You are only human. Why? Oh, you cannot understand." The line went dead. Sarah stared at Daniel, tears blurring her eyes. "You don't have to listen to her. You can fight this." But Daniel's gaze had already shifted back to the window. The figures outside began to move at last, slow, deliberate, stepping closer to the house. Their skin was pale gray, smooth like stone. Their eyes glowed brighter as they approached, casting silver light across the lawn. Sarah backed away. "Daniel, please," he stepped toward the door, his movements steady, unshaken. "They are calling me. I can hear their voices clearer now. They say my change is almost complete." His hand reached for the doorknob. Sarah felt panic rise like fire inside her. She darted to the kitchen counter and grabbed the box she had found earlier. Only one chocolate remained inside, glowing brighter than all the rest. Her hands trembled as she held it up. "If I eat this," she whispered, "will it make me like you? Or will it kill me?" Daniel froze, his silver eyes narrowing. The room filled with a strange silence, the Watchers outside pausing as if waiting for her decision, and in that stillness, Sarah realized the truth. She wasn't just a witness anymore. She was part of the choice. The air in the house felt heavy, as if the walls themselves were waiting. Outside, the Watchers stood motionless, their glowing eyes fixed on the door. Inside, Sarah clutched the last chocolate in her trembling hand. Daniel stood only a few feet away, his body no longer the same. His veins glowed silver, his voice echoed with strange tones, his very presence sharp and unnatural. He stretched out his hand. "Give it to me, Sarah. It belongs to me." Her heart pounded. "And if I don't?" His eyes narrowed, and for a moment, she saw the man she had once known, trapped behind layers of something alien. "If you eat it," he said quietly, "you won't survive." Sarah stared at the glowing piece, its light pulsing like a heartbeat. "Maybe it will kill me," she thought. "Maybe it will save me." Either way, she couldn't let him finish what had begun. The watchers outside stepped closer, their long limbs moving in perfect silence. The glass of the windows trembled, as though the house itself feared their arrival. Daniel's voice deepened. It is my destiny. You cannot change it. Sarah's hand shook, but she lifted the chocolate to her lips. For a moment, everything froze. Daniel's eyes widened in shock. No, he roared, lunging toward her, but she bit down. The taste was nothing like sweetness. It was cold, bitter, alive. The moment it touched her tongue, fire and ice raced through her veins. Her body convulsed, her vision blurred, and then silence. When her eyes cleared, she was standing tall. The chocolate's glow had vanished into her, and the watchers outside stepped back, their heads tilting in unison. Daniel staggered. His silver veins dimmed, his body weakening. What have you done? Sarah looked at her hands. They shimmered faintly, but not like his. Not twisted, not corrupted. She felt strength, yes, but also control. The voices that tormented him whispered to he. But instead of pulling her apart, they bent to her will. She met Daniel's eyes. You wanted to be chosen. But you weren't strong enough. You let them use you. Her voice was steady now, calm in a way that frightened him. He fell to his knees, trembling. It was supposed to be me. Mother said it would be me. The watchers outside bowed their heads, not to Daniel, but to her. The silver glow in their eyes dimmed, as if acknowledging a higher command. Sarah stepped forward, her shadow stretching long across the room. Karma, she whispered. You took what wasn't yours. You devoured what was meant for me. And now, the price has come due. Daniel reached for her, but his strength failed. His body shuddered, collapsing to the floor, his transformation incomplete, his destiny stolen. Sarah turned toward the door. The watchers moved aside, clearing a path for her. She no longer felt fear. She no longer felt small. She was not human anymore, but neither was she theirs. She was something new, something stronger, and as she stepped into the night, the stars above seemed brighter, as if they too recognized her rise.